Hi, my name's Chris Flickinger. I'm the lead pastor here at First Baptist Church. I want to welcome all the students to Anchored Youth Ministry. And the mission of Anchored Youth is to glorify God. But that's a really complicated phrase. We like to summarize that into something simple that everyone can remember, and that is making Jesus famous in everything we do, with our words, our actions, our thoughts, everything. Hey, this Saturday we have something awesome going on. Our student ministry has been involved in it in a number of weeks. It is called 806 The Gathering. Cody Hodges helps lead it, and it's been a great spiritual tool for discipleship and growth and inspiration for several students. How many of you, by a show of hands, have actually been to one of these? Look around. All right. You want the details and know what it's about, you need to ask one of these people. But it's this Saturday, December 15th at 6 p.m. at Cross Point Church in Amarillo. Hope to see you there. All right, now next week, which is December 19th, Wednesday, December 19th at 7 o'clock, there's something awesome happening here in the student ministry, and that is the Christmas party. You're not going to want to miss this. There's going to be food, games, all kinds of fun, door prizes, and in fact, we'd like to invite each of you to bring a gift under the 4 conditions. 1, it's never been alive, and it's not alive. 2, it's not dead. 3, it didn't cost you any money. And 4, it's wrapped in some sort of wrapping that hides what it actually is. So bring one of those gifts. Everyone's going to do this, and then one of the games we're going to do is going to be exchanging these things. So you'll want to participate in that. Don't forget that. And in light of the series that we've been in, Real Christmas, about Christmas movies, we want to challenge you to come dressed as your favorite Christmas movie character, whether it's from The Grinch, A Christmas Story, Home Alone. I don't know. If you want to know what kind of movies qualify as Christmas movies, you should ask your youth pastor. But anyway, bring a gift, come dressed as your favorite Christmas character, and whatever you do, be ready for a lot of fun. Hey, we want to welcome all the college students that are here, the ones who are home for break and are going to be home for a while. We're glad you're here. We want to offer something for you in our church and through our student ministry in some regard. And so we want to invite you to come and participate like you are right now, and to continue to do that each Wednesday, same time, same place. And if you know of any other college students that are available or bored, or just students of that age who maybe haven't gone to college, or we don't know. If you know someone in this age range, we want them to feel very welcomed here, that this is a place for them. So please invite them, and we are very, very glad that you're here.
Hi, my name is Bella if you don't know me, and today I am just going to say congratulations to my mom. She just finished college. She just got her master's degree. She will be graduating on Saturday, and she is awesome. If you don't know, masters are hard to get, and I'm really proud of her. She's a great role model. Congratulations, Mom. Love you.
I'm Cami Castle, and I have a sister Carly and 2 brothers Jake and Peyton, and I'm 15. I've always kind of attended church regularly. Just from a child, I was brought into church through my family, but I started going to church because I really wanted to, probably at the beginning of this year, starting at around the end of school year, start of summer. Jesus was always pretty cool to me. There were a few moments in time when I kind of doubted if he was here for me or if he was just here for everyone, but he was always real to me. There was a few times whenever I wondered if he was actually here for us. Just with family matters, I wondered how could he be here for us if he brought so much pain to my family. But in the end, I did come back to faith and realize he is here for us. He just has a purpose. Whenever my dad left and my older brother followed, it was pretty hard on my family. I remember seeing my older brother cry, which for him was a big deal. And then my mom was torn, and my little brother he didn't really talk for a while, and I I wonder why Jesus would do this to us, why God would put such pain in our family. But after a while, I kind of realized that this is just a chance for us to grow stronger in faith and stronger through Christ, so it kind of worked out better in the end. My name is Cami Calso, and I want my life to help make Jesus famous.
Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, he is my song. Let the King of my heart
early. We're leaving the house at 8 a.m. on the button.
I hope you're all drinking milk. I want to get rid of it. Hey, don't shut up.
Right, the pizza boy needs $122.50 plus tip.
For pizza?
10 pizzas times $12.
Frank, you got the money, don't you? Come on.
Traveler's checks.
Forget it, Frank. We have cash.
You probably get the kind of traveler's checks that don't work in France.
Did anyone order me plain cheese?
Well, yeah, we did. But if you want any, somebody's gonna have to barf it all up, because it's gone.
Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
Get a plate.
Passport! Watch it!
Stop me!
Help me out.
No, let's get these passports out of here.
Get the bag ready.
Come here.
You all right?
What is the matter with you?
He started it. He ate my pizza on purpose. He knows I ate sausage and olives and
Look what
onions
you
and-
did, you little jerk.
Kevin, get upstairs right now.
Why?
Kevin, you're such a disease.
Shut up.
Kevin, upstairs.
Say goodnight, Kevin.
Good night, Kevin.
So how's everybody doing? Can anybody relate to that? Anybody else have a dysfunctional family? Everybody? Anybody have the perfect family? No hands. So part of this too, we're going to be talking about how Home Alone relates to the Christmas story. How does it relate to the birth of Jesus and Jesus coming? So this is the second week of Real Christmas, where we're using movies to explain Jesus and the story of Jesus. I'm going to share a little personal story. Before I do that, does anybody know their grandpa's full name? Raise your hand. Your grandpa's full name. Keep your hand up if you actually know what he did for a living. It's actually a little bit more than I expected. So what's your grandpa's middle name? Oh, that's good. All right. So, okay, you can put your hands down. So would it be surprised that, I'm thinking about Bella when I did this whole message. I was thinking about Bella. Bella doesn't even know that she has a great-grandmother. And she doesn't know this. And then she doesn't even know that she lives in Dimmitt, which is 20 miles away. I haven't seen my grandmother in about, I'm going to say about 6-7 years. So I'm going to kind of talk about a little bit about how this movie relates to me and what Jesus has to say about that. First, I want to talk about, of course, my family. Not my immediate family. Mine, Teresa, and the kids are perfect. We'll talk about, my dad's side of the family. For one, like I said, you probably see my dad in church if you see him every now and then. But with this family, I used to love going to Christmas to my grandma's house, which is my dad's mom, because I had my cousins there, and I had all my aunts and uncles, and then we'll play a basketball game, and then the uncles will come, and we'll play kids against adults, and everything was great. I loved Christmas. And then I started getting older, and then I started witnessing some stuff. I'm telling you, one day I witnessed that. So we lived 6 miles south of Dimmitt, and then I witnessed jumping in a Bronco. We had a Bronco at that one time, and we're hauling butt to town to Dimmitt. And then I witnessed my dad getting out of the car, going to my aunt's door, banging on it. Calling out his brother-in-law. And I was like, Mom, what's going on? Because my dad's big, and he was about to break down that door, calling them out. Well, apparently what happened is his brother-in-law beat up his dad, which would also be, so my dad was going to beat up his sister's husband. And I remember just sitting there in the, Bronco just saying, like, wow. First of all, I was proud of my dad. I was like, man, look at my dad. He's ready to fight. When you're little, you think about that. But if you think about that, that's dysfunctional, is it not? It is dysfunctional. Another thing that I witnessed, and actually not witnessed, but I heard, is that on the same side of the family, I had one of my cousins, he was about 3 years younger than me, was with a girl. They had a baby, weren't married, but they were living together. Well, then he got thrown in jail. So guess what my other cousin did? Went and took care of his girl. And when I say take care of it, meaning he moved and was with her. That is dysfunctional. That is crazy. How can a cousin steal another cousin's girl? And then, this is getting older, I was starting to realize too that none of my other cousins were named Lara. L-A-R-R-A. 2 R's. Didn't even know that. Everybody else was named Reyes. So I started asking my dad, hey Dad, why are the names are different? And he goes, well, I don't know my dad. So the story on that with my dad's side is that they were harvest. His dad, a real dad, was a harvest person, and they went from town to town harvesting whatever they needed to be harvested. Well, every night these guys would get together, correct? And they would just drink and drink and drink and drink. They ended up somewhere around here in Hereford, and what my dad tells me is that my grandma had enough. Says stop or don't come home. So my grandma and the 2 kids, my one true uncle and my dad, woke up, and my grandma woke up the next morning, and guess what? Everybody was gone. Everybody. So he grew up here in the Hereford area, Dimmitt, Hart, back and forth, this and this. So it even gets better as the story goes, because you wonder why I haven't seen my grandma, why Bella doesn't know she has a grandmother. I think Helen you met her maybe 2 times maybe. When my grandpa passed away about 6 years ago, they needed to bury him. So when they wanted to bury him, it takes what to bury people? Money. Well, none of the aunts or uncles had money. None of his brothers or sisters had money. So guess what they did? Joe, that's my dad's name. Pay for the funeral, we'll pay you back. That was about $1,000 each. So my dad put about $6,000 to bury his stepdad and expecting to get payment back. Well then, Grandpa's passed away. About 2 months later, the IRS is coming after his mom's house. For what reason? Because they didn't pay taxes in the past 3 years. And my aunt lived with them. So my dad put another $2,000 expecting for them to pay him back. So it's been about six, seven years, and my dad's still waiting. So it's one of those things where I sit and I just think about it. And as I did this message was a little hard for me, because you have to admit, for one, there's times whenever, even if my brothers came in or my family came in, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Because I know where I've been. I know what I've witnessed. And then I started thinking, how can God use someone like me with a past like that? I know the way my family was. I know even like Thanksgiving, it's crazy. Even Christmas, our goal is 1 hour, and then 1 hour we're gone. It has to be that way. Because even my brothers and sister-in-laws, they get crazy. Not as crazy as my dad and his family, but it gets crazy. And then there's even times I feel out of place. For what reason? Of course, my brothers are there cussing up a storm and stuff of that nature, and it's just common to them. But how can God still use someone like me, like I don't feel worthy? Because I know where I came from. Have any of you ever felt this way? Like, why me? God knows my family. God even knows my past. How can He still use me? Why would He still use me? What does the Bible say about that? Today's message is going to be, Christmas means no matter where you come from or what you have done, God can still use you. So as we go through here, I'm going to switch over to Matthew 1, chapter 1, verse 1 through 18. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just for the form of embarrassment, because I can't pronounce all the names. But why would Matthew 1 open up with the genealogy of Jesus? Why would it give the whole history of Jesus? Have you ever thought about that? If you ever read the Bible and you turn to Matthew 1, it starts off with this. And how many of y'all just skip it? Most of us do, right? We just skip it. Why? Oh, that's just a bunch of history. But there's a story within this history. I'm just going to read several verses here. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham and Judah, the father of Perez and Zerah by Tamar, and Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron the father of Ram, and Solomon the father of Boaz by Rahab, and Boaz the father of Obed and Ruth. And when you go through all of this, there's 5 names I want you to catch. And you can kind of see them out there. One is going to be in verse 3 is going to be Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and then right there in verse 6 it says, and David, the father of Solomon, by the wife of Uriah. Who is that? Bathsheba. Bathsheba, and then at the very last it says Mary. So it mentions 5 females. You know too that back in the old day, women never got mentioned. Women never got mentioned. Do you understand that? For the reason, for what reason? Can anybody tell me? Back then, women were to be not to be even seen. They're supposed to be out there. They had no authority over anything. The only time a woman got recognized was if they were doing bad. And then also the other thing, back in the old days, back in Jesus' day, guess what defined you? Your family defined you. Okay? So if you go through this too, and you probably read in the Bible, and there you can even see some old movies that says, hey, I'm Jacob, son of Jolara. Y'all ever see this in the Bible, or hear it in the Bible, or even see movies that way? I think I'm reminded of The Knight's Tale. I don't know if y'all seen The Knight's Tale, or I'm showing my age, but I can't remember his name, but he says, hey, I'm so-and-so, father of so-and-so. Oh, you're the son of a peasant, right? So your past defined who you were. Your family defined who you were. So you can imagine just living life, having to live in your dad's shadow, or your grandpa's shadow, or your father's shadow. So we're going to continue here with this. It's going to be one that mentions Tamar. The story of Tamar is that one, she married one of Judah's sons, but Judah's son had died. So what was the tradition back there? If you died, the husband died, who took care of the wife? The brother. So guess what she had to do? Marry the brother. Well, guess what happened to that brother? He died. So then there was a little kid, and the father says, no, go disappear. When he gets older, we will call you and you can marry him. Well, guess what? He got older. Did she ever get a call? No. Never got a call. So instead, this is what she did. A few years went by. She was still waiting for a husband. She was still wanting to have a baby, waiting to have a baby. And her father-in-law was ignoring her request. So she decided to dress up like a prostitute, seduce her father-in-law, and finally have a baby. So she dressed like a prostitute and went after the father and seduced him and got pregnant. Would you be surprised if I told you this is Jesus' great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpa?
Yes.
Rahab, there you go. Rahab didn't dress like a prostitute. She was a prostitute. She was a prostitute. However, she helped who? She helped 2 spies hide. Joshua sent 2 spies in, and they were looking for them. There were 2 spies there, and she actually helped them. She helped them change her life, and she also gave them advice also saying that everyone is scared because of what they have seen 40 years ago, which was parting the Red Sea. So God used her, but yet she was a prostitute. And this is Jesus' great-great-great-great-grandmother. Ruth. Everybody know the story of Ruth? How did Ruth mess up? Ruth was a Moabite. And what were they? They were the scum of the earth. They were bad people. Very bad people. The Moabites were famous for incest and human sacrifice. They would actually sacrifice humans. If you were a Moabite too, you weren't even allowed to go worship. You weren't allowed to go worship or anything of that nature. They were bad business. Ruth became King David's grandmother and Jesus' great-great-great-great-great-grandmother. See how this whole family is coming together? And what do they have all in common? They're messed up, dysfunctional. All dysfunctional. And then and David was the father of Solomon by the wife of Uriah, with Bathsheba. Everybody, when you read that, everybody assumes that it's David's fault, right? Let me think about it this way. For one, what was she doing on a rooftop? She was bathing. Can you see, did she plan it? Did she not plan it? Who knows? Who knows? The Bible doesn't say. But then again, whenever King David called for her, the Bible doesn't even say that she fought. She didn't have excuses. What did she do? She went straight through it. Now, we'll never know, was it all David's and she was just listening because he's a king? Or did she plan it? We don't know. The thing is that they both knew what they were doing. And they both messed up. They both did. And then again, this is Jesus, of course, and I actually found this out. Bathsheba is the mother of Solomon. King Solomon. Bathsheba is Jesus' great grandmother. And the last one we're going to be talking about today is going to be Mary. His mother. You realize that Mary's situation was the toughest in women's history? For one, because she got pregnant and she was engaged to Joseph. She could have been stoned to death, 100% legal. Could have been done. Not only that, you can imagine what kind of name she was called, how people looked at her, what she had to put up with. I'm sure people even called her crazy. And some other names. And Mary, the mother of Jesus. So with this first chapter is very important because I want you to take peace in that God uses dysfunctional families and dysfunctional people. I'm living proof that I'm here. I can tell you many, many stories just of the things I've seen. I still remember, even going to my grandpa's house and them playing pool till 2 in the morning, and it always ended with what? A fight. I've seen my dad beat up his brother. Beat him up, jump in the truck, go home. Which actually, I think about it, I don't think I ever saw him lose a fight. But dysfunctional family. God can still use you. This is what it would sound like if Jesus would introduce himself. Hi, my name is Jesus. I come from a messed up family of messed up people who did messed up things. My great-great-great-great-grandmother pretended she was a prostitute to seduce her own father-in-law. My great-great-great-great-grandmother actually was a prostitute. My great-great-great-grandmother came from a long line of incest, perverts, and idol worshippers. My great-great-great-great-great-grandparents had an affair and tried to cover it up. It cost thousands of lives. And my great-great-great-great-grandfather murdered one of his closest friends over it. My own mother was accused of awful things and called every name in the book. Guess what? God, Father, still used every one of them, and can still use you. Careless of where you come from. Careless of where you come from. So once again, the message is God uses people who have messed up, from families that are messed up, and that's why we can be used. Every single one of us can be used. And as everybody stands, I want to close in prayer. But this is something that I want you to stick in, and this is something I want you to remember. Every one of these ladies were used because they surrendered to God. Every single one of them did. They surrendered to God and they feared God. And if anything sinks in tonight, this is one sinks in. God doesn't care where you have been. God does not care where you have been. He cares where you are going. And just think about that. God does not care where you have been, but He cares about where you're going.